been going?
Oh, good. Before we moved here with Casey, you met my future wife. We're getting married in less than a week, man.
Are you really? Congratulations.
Yes.
And you're here doing a podcast.
I know. I've got so much stuff to wrap. So I told her,
Yeah.
hey, I'm going to be kind of a nutsack this week.
Oh, my goodness.
And what was I going to say? Oh, yes. Before we moved here, before April, month of March, I shot like 8 episodes. Yeah, 8,
Wow.
and they're between 45 minutes to 2.5 hours.
Really?
Yes.
Wow, that's incredible.
Yeah, some people you can just talk about nonsense.
Forever, yeah.
Some folks it's more, which is fine, you know.
Yeah.
And all of that. So there's this guy Gary V. I'm sure you might know him. He's this.
I might know his face.
He's, I think, second generation American or first generation American. His parents are from Belarus or Ukraine or somewhere around there. And he is like a billionaire. He says, I only do long form, so I get short form.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, so the whole idea of this is that all of these are chopped into small bits of 30 to 90 seconds.
Okay.
And all these gives me around 400 videos.
Wow. Oh, the like YouTube shorts and everything.
YouTube Shorts, TikTok,
Yeah.
Instagram, and all these platforms, and they all have captions and things like that. So
I've seen a few of them.
Oh, yeah?
I tried to see how things are going right before coming, and I saw a few of them had like several hundred views. I'm like, dude, this is awesome.
yes,
Yeah.
finally some have like some. Weirdly, it has 1,000 views. Some of them has a couple hundred.
Really?
Yeah, I'm excited. I haven't even paid anything to market it, which I'm curious. I want to try it, but I'm curious what like organic stuff, just constantly pumping stuff.
That's something.
Does.
I was listening to a drummer, and he's like one of the world's best drummers right now. I'm trying to remember his name, but he's like kind of a heavy metal guy.
Oh,
he does
nice.
he's got 2 drumsticks and a skull in the middle with a beard, and that always pops up at the end of his videos.
Short guy?
I don't know, but he's done it before where he does crazy stuff with 1 foot or 1 drumstick while he's holding a drink in the other hand. And then at the very end of it, he always just like tosses it down and his logo pops up, and it's at the end of his shorts.
Cool.
I'll have to try and find it whenever we finish up here, but I think you would really enjoy it.
Let me move that a little low so that I can
Yeah, no, you're
introduce
good.
you and move it.
Oh, but I guess that the reason I was bringing that up was he used to say I had to pump stuff out every day to get any kind of traction on YouTube. And it was like daily videos.
It's the constancy.
Yeah.
Like I'm a music producer also. That's like the one of the first. So when I got into music, guitar and instruments, and I'm like, I want to be more than just a guitarist.
Yeah.
And then that's what I studied. I went to Berkeley for performance and production.
Okay.
And I took a class, a video production class, with a guy who also went there, but he was smart. His strategy was, I'm a video guy, and I'm surrounded by people who will need videos. I'm like, that is really cool. And he was, I think, in the same class as Charlie Puth.
Really?
Yeah, he knew him.
That's crazy.
He was this, like, probably a year or 2 older than me, but he was phenomenal. Like, content, video, captivating stuff. And I took his class. It was a very fast-paced class. We had to produce 2 music videos while you're in your last semester, finishing this and doing this, and a lot of post-production. I'm like, shit, that's cool.
Yeah.
I think it's really important, especially when you're in Nashville, to be able to offer like a greater amount of things than just music production.
Because what's going to separate you from everyone else, right?
And also you're working with artists. I always imagine like what this song would look like.
Ooh,
you know, what is the aesthetic, and then later came, like writing music and producing music for advertisement, and like making advertisements ourselves.
Yeah.
I shot boat commercials, horse commercials with the drone. I'm a drone operator too.
You do it all. That's crazy.
I just can't sit on my ass.
No, I can't either. I'm right there with you. The only time I can do it is when I'm roasting coffee and my mind's fully there.
I love that. So, Cameron Merrill, we've been shooting for the past 5 minutes,
Awesome. Awesome.
and you own this
Oh, that's okay. It's okay. It'll be all right.
Risen Roast Coffee Company, right?
Yes.
Let me get in there. Let's get some good shots. Yes, there you go. That was a good close-up shot. We met because I love telling people how I meet people.
Yeah.
We met at the farmers market.
Oh, yeah.
Casey, she had a booth there, a sensory booth, because she works
really?
for Autism Tennessee.
Wow. I
And-
saw it up there.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I went with her, and then I'm like walk around, and I'm like, coffee guy, heck yeah. We had a good chat, and I got 2 coffee bags, the dark roast and the light roast, and I loved it. And we bonded on roasting and coffee.
Oh,
so
I
I'm like, you
know.
gotta come and do this with me.
Absolutely. I knew we sat there and talked about coffee for like 30 minutes, and I was like, I still have to sell coffee, so definitely glad to be here.
Yes. I'm just taking some B-roll of this. So, how long have you been roasting? What inspired you to be a roaster?
So we've been roasting now for a little over 3 years. We started off with a popcorn popper. That's crazy enough. I was like, I need to find something cheap because even the sample roasters are super expensive. So I went to Goodwill just hoping and praying I had what you have right here. Are you kidding me? That's amazing.
I'm going to put this right here.
That's all you need to start, really, right
Yes,
there.
exactly.
So I had something very similar to this, and I would take the lid off, I'd put the beans in. I could only do like maybe, I think it was like 50 to 60 grams at a time or something like that. And I took a big wooden spoon, and I would just stir it and stir it and stir it. And I was like, I did my homework. I know you're supposed to have less power the further you go. So I'd be sitting there stirring and then unplug it, stir some more, and then plug it back in. And it was, oh my goodness, it was a fire hazard for sure. But I had so much fun with it. I'm like, I've got to do this. My wife and I have always dreamed of owning a coffee shop, but one of the ways that everyone that I found online said to start was with coffee roasting because it's far less expensive. It's a whole lot more immersive as far as learning the coffee world. And then from there, if that's successful, then you can kind of work your way
Scale.
into it. Yes. But almost now, I'm wondering if we even like still have the dream of a coffee shop, or if we really want to just be true coffee roasters, because I've just kind of fallen in love with it. So
Interesting. There's so much that goes into. I look at it 2 sides. There's the roasting, as that also impacts the brewing.
yes,
And I wanted to show you these
I saw that sitting
because I
there.
thought you would get a kick out
Yeah.
of these 2 books. I got this from my future brother-in-law.
Okay.
Depends on when you all are watching this. My brother-in-law, if you're watching this a week from today, and I bought this years ago, and this was inspired by James Hoffman, I think, where he did some
Yes.
writing, and I read these. I watched videos from James Hoffman, so I got into it. Similar story. Went to Goodwill, and you can ask my dad and Casey. Went to Goodwill and I found the 2 Starbucks, like one of those pod espresso machines. I'm
Yeah.
like, yes. And they didn't work because I'm like,
Of course.
but I fixed them and I kept finding them and I kept fixing them like shit. And I
Really?
kept finding like coffee machines. Like there is another one there, Ninja one. I fixed it. And it originally cost like $200 and I got
Yeah.
it for $5.
Wow.
And I got a bunch of these Bialetti stovetop makers.
Oh, yeah.
If I can show you upstairs, so there's like a bunch of coffee makers, pour overs,
Really?
V60, and yada yada.
You've got more than I do then. All it takes is a little bit of
Obsession.
love, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And then I got one for like $100 at DeLonghi.
Oh, yeah.
But I learned that those are pressurized and that you can upgrade, but I always dreamed of having one of these.
Yes.
And I'm like, for my birthday, I want one. And
Oh,
I
yeah.
got it, and it was like a 3 months of videos. This, how to dial in, how to do this. And dialing in is another thing. Like each bean has it's like a whole personality.
It's a science, right? And it's
Yes.
I find it super fun, and I'll sit there and have way too much coffee, trying to get it just right, and enjoying it the whole time, but still just like it could be, maybe it's a little bit too, and so I make an adjustment. I'm like, oh, now that's perfect. But something I actually enjoy, probably more than dialing in, is actually the latte art. I
Huh.
love pouring latte art and
Ooh.
practicing that. So,
I'm sure you're probably way better at that than I am. I used to care more at it.
uh huh.
And once I made a Sasquatch, and a friend of mine posted on Instagram, and she was like, "What does this look like, y'all?" And it got like 1,000 views, and I'm laughing there. It was completely like by mistake, and looked like a freaking Sasquatch with
Really?
one leg.
I'm gonna have to find that video. I
I
think
don't know
that'd be
where
cool.
it is. But what bean? What is your favorite origin of bean
Ooh,
and favorite method of harvest?
that's a tough question. We've gotten them from so many different places. Our very first bean that I still think has been one of our favorites was from Tanzania, and I loved Tanzanian coffee. I dialed it in, got the roast profile set up, and once it was finally tuned, it was just an amazing cup of coffee. And since then, I mean, I love all of our coffee, but the most recent one that you have up there on the wall is called Luo. It's from Colombia. I don't know. That might have to top it. It's
I
so
do love a
nice.
good Colombian. I'm a sucker for African beans.
Mm-hmm.
I was talking to you about that bean the other day, and it's termico. Termico is the process.
Yeah,
Have you
and
heard
I
of
hadn't.
termico?
I think we talked about it a little, but I don't remember much about it. You'll have to share.
It's kind of like a hybrid one. I have to do more research on it. There's this place in Henderson, Kentucky. I shot a wedding, and it was right next to a coffee shop. I'm like, yes, I'm gonna chat with the barista over
Yeah.
there, and I bought that, and it was difficult to dial in, but it was delicious. Very fruity, chocolatey,
Okay.
but took some time. And I got that Rwanda one on the right.
Oh yeah.
I got that in Hungary. There are some really nice
wow.
specialty places there. I love visiting specialty coffee because
Yeah.
you know you're gonna get the good stuff.
Absolutely.
You know, what I don't like, which I noticed after I learned so much about roasting and brewing, is when you go into a shop, they charge you $7, and you see the coffee spurging like it has diarrhea.
Yes, I always, when I try a new coffee shop, there's a newer one that just came in Clarksville called Kairos.
I love them.
That's actually really good.
really good.
I go to every new coffee shop that I know of, and I always get a flat white. I just want espresso and milk just to see what it tastes like.
Interesting.
Is it good quality coffee, or is it meant to be packed with all the sugars and other things?
Yeah, and that's too. There are folks who love the sugary kind of coffee where it's not about the experience of the coffee, but more.
Right.
It's more sugar down.
Yeah.
That's why there's one place. What is it called?
Is it local?
It's kind of like a chain, I think, and there's
Okay.
one on near the river. Shoot, I
Is
forget.
it
And there's one,
Lassiter's?
not Lassiter's. It's like it looks like Starbucks blue symbol.
Oh, Dutch Bros.
Dutch Bros.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was once there. It was just spurting out.
Yeah, that one's definitely meant to be packed with all the flavoring. My wife really likes that because she
Yeah.
likes a little bit of coffee with her cream. So,
Oh,
um,
I love Amsterdam, and I saw your coffee at Amsterdam.
yeah,
I
you're
was
right.
so happy. They're a great place.
I've really enjoyed our partnership with them. They've been so kind. Huge shout out to the Amsterdam. If you're here in Clarksville, you got to go see them. Not just to try our coffee, but just to be in that space. They did such a beautiful job making the space cozy and welcoming for like anybody to come in. But I'm getting sidetracked. I know you asked me my favorite
Oh, it's
process.
okay. I welcome sidetracking.
That's okay. I more and more as I'm roasting, I do like the flavor of some naturals because you get a little bit more of the cherry that sticks on there while it dries. But as far as just the ease of roasting and the process, I would definitely say washed, just because it's so much cleaner. It's a lot easier to deal with as a roaster. There's a lot less cleanup in between every roast. When you have a natural, there's a lot more chaff and stuff that falls off the beans. So it gets a little bit messier, a little bit quicker. But I've also found that the higher the bean has grown, and especially when the bean is bigger, like this Colombian bean that we have is very clean. I was very surprised the first few roasts that I had, there was almost no chaff or no waste. I was like, where is it all? It was just such a clean bean, and it made it more enjoyable to roast because it was simple. And it also tastes amazing, so that's a good combo. Yeah.
Interesting. How long have you been roasting?
So 3 years starting with that, but
Wow.
with an actual roaster, we moved from this to a hot top that had the artisan profiling where you could do it on a computer because I wanted to geek out on it.
Is that the bullet?
So that's one step lower than the
Oh,
bullet as far as
gotcha.
size goes. We could roast probably 300 grams on there. So whenever we first started selling is when we had that, and it would make one of these small bags that you showed per roast. And then you had to cool it down and then heat it back up in between. So it was probably 2 small bags per hour. And I was
Wow.
roasting all day, every day, whenever I wasn't teaching. But the bullet has been amazing.
You have the bullet.
Yes, and actually
Nice.
since we've talked, I've got another one. So I've got 2.
Wow, that's awesome.
The twins are rocking and rolling. I was just roasting with them this morning. We do our coffee for a church in town, Life Point, and they get all kinds of coffee because they have so many people. And we were like, we would love to be able to do that, but I've got to upscale so I can handle the growth. So we got a second roaster, and man, it's just been a breeze after that. It's been
That's
really
awesome.
nice.
Yeah,
really
my
nice.
brother-in-law got the bullet.
What does he
you
think of
guys,
it?
You guys would be best friends because
Oh, I know
he also makes a lot of coffee beans for his church.
Does he really?
Yeah, in
Okay.
Alabama.
Wow,
Yeah.
yeah, we'll have to exchange contact info.
He's in it was the funniest thing when I met him. We were like, he was bringing the beans and I was bringing that machine. And Gatlinburg were like, yeah, let's try some
Oh,
roasts.
yeah.
It was fun.
Did you do it right after roasting it too?
With espresso, I learned that it's better to wait a week.
Yes, I was
'cause of
going to
the
say.
degassing. Yeah.
I had somebody ask me at the farmer's market just the other day, do I have any green beans to sell? And I was like,
Oh,
really? Some unroasted, you want unroasted coffee beans?
interesting.
I was like, send me a message and maybe I can bring you some. But he wanted to do what he had seen on YouTube where they'll go from roasting it to grinding it to brewing it right all in the same sitting. But it is more difficult with espresso because it creates so much pressure in there. You won't even really get much of a shot.
It doesn't taste very good. Let me elaborate on that. I did a test with a bean.
Okay.
Where each day I tried a serving,
Yeah.
and you can see the difference in the crema. You always have to adjust it
Yeah.
every single day, and it's more earlier stages. It's more astringent, more acidic.
Yes.
You almost like, this may have turned into a bad roast, but then
think? Yeah.
but then you wait for like a week, 2 weeks.
Oh, I know.
It's crazy. That's why it's kind of hard to know, is this a good roast or.
Yeah,
And,
you have to know the roast date, and so many people
So
don't put it on there.
I'm sure you're you know, like City Plus and these terms.
Yes.
Yes, you roasted to City Plus, I think.
Okay.
I'm losing about 15% of the weight, 13 to 15.
Yeah, that's
I think it's about City Plus.
yeah.
You know, that's what it was hard to like slow down with this, and I made I made a lighter roast with one of the Ethiopians. Now that tasted very earthy.
Yes, especially with something like this, it's really difficult to get a light roast dialed in because it roasts more unevenly, and so you might get some of the beans perfect, but then the other half of the beans are not quite there yet, so you get that earthy, grassy taste. But as far as like degassing goes, your light roasts, you need to wait a little bit longer, and your dark roasts, you only really need to wait a few days. So maybe with like the luo, you would only need to wait like 3 or 4 days. But with sparrow, you would want to wait a full week, maybe a week and a day or two, because you're roasting, it like lightens the bean and it kind of breaks it down a little bit more. So it's a little more porous whenever it becomes darker. so it degasses quicker and easier. But the lighter the roast is, the denser the bean, and it stays denser, it stays heavier. There's not as much moisture loss. So you have to wait a little bit longer for that gas to find its way out.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So what is your recommendation when it comes to dialing in each one of these?
As far as grind size?
Grind size.
Okay.
And recipe, if you have a, I use a 22-gram portafilter.
That's what I use at home
Oh,
too.
nice.
Yes.
Dude.
I know it. I gotta get as much as I can get in there, right?
Oh, I wish I didn't have to go to Nashville this morning.
Oh, that's okay.
I'm sure this would have been a longer episode.
Oh, I know. We
have
could
to
be
do
here for hours.
Yeah,
We could do a part 2.
Hell
Yeah.
yeah. You live far?
No, it's like 15 minutes.
Oh, that's great.
Um,
Let's get back to the dialing in. What's your strategy, or what's your what do you suggest?
okay, so I know on my grinder at home, I have a Baratza.
Oh, that's good.
It's a grind by weight, so I just put it in the hopper and it does it as it needs to. But the lighter the roast, the finer you need to go as well. So because the dark roast is a little more porous, you don't have to grind as fine to get proper extraction. But the lighter you go, the finer you want. So I guess let me ask you this. For your grinder, what's that one there?
That's a Gavi.
Okay. With that one on a typical, say, medium, where do you find kind of your average sweet spot?
Usually I use between 3 and 5-ish.
Okay.
It really depends. I got to a point where it takes maybe making one coffee, and then the second one will be probably pretty dialed in.
Yeah.
And I like to go an 8-second pre-infusion.
Oh, yeah.
And then go until 36 to 40 because it's
You like it a little longer?
Yeah, I like it a little longer, and also depending on how fine is, I'll slow down the thing so it's not a faster pour. But I saw this method of cupping or tasting where each 10 second you try the shot. You have 3 different cups and each 10 second.
Yeah.
Which is very interesting. And there's the pour over. Have you heard of that? It's espresso pour over mixture.
No, I haven't.
Which is utilizing the pre-infusion function for a long time, like 40 to 60 seconds plus, and using a lighter grind size.
Okay.
Lance Hendrick talks about it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I definitely have watched his videos. Yeah.
Have you seen him?
I have seen him all the time.
He's a magician too.
Oh yeah, he knows a lot of what he's talking about. But that's interesting. I'll have to give that a shot.
And
so
what's your favorite preparation of coffee?
Oh, I 100% like espresso.
Yeah, same.
It's so hard not to. That's my morning routine.
Same.
It gets me awake. It gets me going, and it's so satisfying when you get it done right. I mean, I'll sit here at the bench and get it all ready, and then I'll squat down and watch it because I want to see the way it drips. I need to get one of those little mirrors, but I've actually enjoyed my coffee a little bit slower as well, like closer to 40 seconds, but that's just for me because I like the way it flows out a little bit better. You get a little bit more crema. I see those tiger stripes a lot more. So I typically go for a slower extraction for sure.
Oh, that's awesome. Where do you sell your coffee beans?
So you met us at the farmer's market.
Yes.
It's the Clarksville downtown farmer's market.
Every Saturday?
It's there every Saturday, but we're there every other week.
Every other week.
Yeah, so we were just there this last Saturday, which would have been the 20th. So we'll be there in 2 weeks. Yeah.
Nice. Where else?
So we also have our coffee at the Amsterdam, where you happen to see it. We sell
Nice.
our whole bean 1 pound bags there, as well as our medium roast that you have there is what they use for their drip coffee. But our small bags that are ground, we sell at Clarksville Collection, which is another downtown shop. It's a little smaller. It's on the main road.
Oh, I think I've seen it.
It's right there by the movie theater. It's just across the street and down a little bit.
Any
But
online orders or anything?
yeah, so you can definitely find us on Facebook and on Instagram. You send us a private message and let us know what you'd like, and we give you the soonest date we can get it to you.
Nice, nice.
We can ship it if you're not in Clarksville, or if you are, then we have kind of a couple spots that we do for local pickup because we don't have a storefront yet. Yeah.
What is your Instagram and what are your socials? And
Yeah.
if you want, you can tell the camera.
Sure, it's Risen Roast Coffee Co. Risen Roast and then coffee. It's all like one word. There's no underscores or anything like that. Just smush it all together. You'll see a black and white logo with an RR in the middle, and that's how you know you found us. But the name Risen Roast, everyone always asks when they come in, like, Risen. Tell me about this risen part. I'm like, well, that would be for the risen Jesus. Everything that we do is in some way, shape, or form tied to the gospel message. We do everything we can to spread the kingdom and just be a light. If people don't want to hear about it, we totally understand. Not everyone's open, but we just want to be a representative in the world for him. And if we find that someone has an open door and wants to chat about it, we'll definitely have that conversation.
Nice.
Yeah.
Wow, 100% support your coffee. It's awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah, I love that. I fell in love with it. That day I made my first espresso. I'm like, this is good.
Oh, well, you can always
love
find
it.
us, and we'll always bring it to you. Absolutely.
I love it. My goal is to put coffee bags on the wall.
Yeah.
You can see it's all over, a bunch of different ones. I have to bring you one in from Hungary.
Yes, please.
Yeah,
That would be awesome. Or
I've
if
got
you,
those.
this process that you were talking about there,
Yes.
if you ever get your hands on something like that again, I've never had anything like that. I would
I
love to try
am
it.
actually going there for another shoot.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, if you
I'll
want to bring me
invite
a
you
bag,
over and
I'll pay you for it.
mess with it.
Yeah, that would be super fun.
Heck yeah, heck yeah. Let's make us a coffee,
Yeah, absolutely.
and then after that you're gonna have to go because time is.
Oh, you're
the
right.
essence,
Man, that's
yes.
so fast.
I know.
I could be here all afternoon.
I know. That's why I said that some of these episodes can be as long as 2 hours.
Absolutely. Well, we'll definitely have a part two. You
No,
wanna put this back?
I was on a big rush.
So, you said you had a meeting in Nashville, is that right?
I had to pick up that book and I had to drop off a lens and a couple of video equipment that I rented for a wedding.
Gotcha.
And then I picked that up. So let's clean this baby.
I like
That's
that you went
awesome.
for the matte black too. That's a
Oh,
good
thank
color.
you. Well, it was an accident, but a good one.
Oh, I would say so for sure.
I love it. You can do so much with it. But I want one of those rockets
Yes, the
in
apartamento.
the future. Yeah.
Yeah.
The one that has, the lever that you can change the, what is it called? Pressure and the flow control, I think.
Yes. Well, it's like the paddle that comes across. Yeah. I like the Linnea Mini and its paddle that it has. I've always wanted to have a machine like that.
Oh, man.
But I have found myself looking for a lever machine.
A lever one.
Yeah, because you get a
Interesting.
very classic. Yeah, it's manual, so you get the most control possible out of it.
Believe it or not, I got one of those as a gift for my soon-to-be brother-in-law.
Did you really?
Last year. I forgot the name of the brand, but it is not an easy one. You definitely don't want to get the cheapest.
No. I've seen some videos with people and some of the cheaper ones, and I'm like, I just don't know if I can do that. I really think the flare is nice.
That's the one I
Yeah.
got him. Give me one moment. Let me clean
Yeah.
this. Oh. It's USB-C operated.
Yeah, that's nice. I have one like that too to clean out the roaster.
Yep.
Very handy.
Yep. I got all kinds of stuff here. But yeah, the flare, I got him one of the starter ones.
Yeah, like the Flare
Neo.
2 or something.
I don't know, Neo.
Yeah.
It was like $90.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah. It's not
That's nice.
easy. I thought I was like, I'm making espresso.
No, it's a process.
It's a whole other ball game, my friend.
It is if you're looking for that morning routine of like getting it just so every day. That part would be nice.
Yep. we can go straight into this.
Yeah.
And I gotten pretty good at finding the right one. Which one? I haven't tried that one. So
Let's try the medium then.
So here you go. First time I'm allowing somebody else to operate it.
Really?
Yes,
Okay.
brother. I respect you.
Oh, I appreciate it. It's an honor.
It's an honor to have the first roaster here.
So you said you typically go from 3 to 5, is that right?
Around there, yes.
Okay. Do you want me to just pour the whole bag?
No,
or-
no, no. Just
okay.
a little bit. Just a dollop. Just a dollop.
Okay. Just enough for a few
Yeah.
grinds.
For you and me.
Okay.
I usually like single dosing.
Now when you just hold it directly over?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, does it need more?
Yep, it needs a little more. Yeah.
I had too small of a dollop.
Yeah, you can put a little bit more.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll let you know. Yeah, that's enough.
Okay.
That will be enough for both of us.
Perfect. Okay.
WD.
Oh, please. You got it. This is the most satisfying part.
I know.
I like the collar you've got here. What brand is that?
I don't know. It's some cheap one.
Hey, it
was
works.
like $8 or something.
I've been waiting to go for some of the nicer stuff until I upgrade my machine.
I know it, man. I know.
Have you heard of ACS Bostock?
No.
It's a beautiful lever machine.
Oh, it's a lever machine.
Yeah. I'd encourage you to look it up. It's super satisfying, very aesthetically pleasing, and it's supposed to make some incredible coffee.
Huh.
That's the one I've got my sights on for down the road.
Lever. Interesting.
Very traditional espresso.
Yes. When I was in Hungary last year, when I started noticing more and more what they got, and lever machine is actually a very popular form of making coffee. But when you go to any place in Hungary or Europe, there's an espresso machine everywhere.
Really?
Yes, which is kind of mental.
Thank you.
I have to have one of those fancier ones and the distributor, but everywhere you go, there is an espresso machine, not a button one, but like one of the good ones. And you have a really good experience.
Good. Yeah, I've been to a few countries in Europe, and it was always so nice to see like the quality they were putting into their cafes. That made me so happy. And that was before I even started roasting. I just knew I liked a
use
good quality cup of coffee. Oh, I do not have one at home, but let's use it.
This helps distribute the coffee more evenly.
Yeah.
And if the grind size is not as fine, it helps a little bit.
Gotcha.
Nice.
Make sure I get it right.
Let's see.
Beautiful. Oh, so you do the milk first.
Sometimes.
Okay.
That's kind of like a European thing.
Yeah.
A lot of places they do that, but I got it into it because I was just lazy.
No, that's good. I like that because sometimes my espresso shot dies, you could say, because it sits too long while I'm
Let's
trying to
see.
froth the milk.
Hair finer.
Just a little finer?
I think a hair
Okay.
finer.
So how do you make your adjustment here? Do you twist up
Twist
here?
it that way.
Gotcha.
Yep.
Okay,
hair
so
finer.
you said 3 and 5.
Where
we
are
were
we
up
now?
at like 8 or 9
Oh.
on that one.
Let me see. Yes, that should be fine. Let's
Right there?
try that.
Sure.
Okay. Yeah, we had a little bit of channeling.
Yeah. Yeah, a little bit finer. We should be able to knock some of that out.
Do you mess with different temperatures?
Not on my machine. You have the Pro. I have the
Yeah.
Express. So I don't know if I can get quite that specific. That's why I like the machine you have. You have a little bit more availability for that.
I'll tell you, home goods. You can get these way cheaper than
Really?
any other place. Yeah, I wish I
Okay.
had known that.
Oh, I know. My wife got me one as a congratulations for your first year of teaching. You made it. And that's what really kind of re-sparked the love for coffee. Hold on, I'll grind this real quick. Oh, it's almost perfect. And that'll do it.
Smells good.
Oh my goodness, I know.
Oh.
Sometimes I'll get it ground and then I'll just go.
I know.
And I'd almost rather do that than drink it sometimes.
I had a couple of folks in the show who are not coffee drinkers.
Oh,
There's this
really?
one guy. Oh, that episode ran like a few weeks ago. He's straight up like, "Oh my God, that's strong." I made him hot chocolate or something.
Oh my goodness. Well, yeah, when you're used to smelling just regular old grocery store coffee and then you get fresh coffee, I mean, so much stronger smell. Whenever we head to the farmer's market or to deliver somewhere and I get back in the car afterwards, the car just smells amazing. It's like, oh, the best air freshener there is.
Oh man. Ooh.
There we go. Have you looked into getting any different tampers?
Yes. Oh, when I got into the coffee, but I kind of forgot about it. I want to get.
That might be just a little bit too much. Is it
You
okay
can
for me to
purge a
scrape it
little
off?
bit. Yeah.
Okay, not much, just the top. That's probably the better way to do this. Just slide it off like that.
Or you can use those pinchers.
What?
Oh yeah.
Pinchers?
I realized that was a very open-ended statement.
No, you're good.
The stir.
Oh.
The stir stick.
Gotcha. I was like, I totally missed it. I didn't even see it. All right, there we go. Should be good now. But yeah, something I have found with the Breville machines really do make a good cup of coffee, but the tamper that comes with it, I don't know what's the deal, but it doesn't quite fit their portafilters. It's just a little bit too small, and so it's a little bit easier to get channeling.
Which one do you have?
I got mine off of Etsy. I found it very specifically for a Breville sized basket. It's like
I'm not gonna use that.
53 or 54 millimeters.
Go for it.
Okay.
Nice. Etsy, Betsy.
Yeah, I'll have to have you over sometime, and I'll show you my espresso bar.
Yes, sir. I always saw these pictures of an espresso bar.
Oh, I know.
I want to build one of those. I love going to stores, and you can ask my dad, what's the first thing I do when I go into Best Buy? Check out their espresso machines.
Oh, yes. I look for espresso machines. I look for like tabletops. We just found one on Facebook, and that looks better.
Yeah.
Just found one on
think it just
Facebook.
needs to sit maybe for a week or something.
Yeah, it's very fresh. The 19th, so just 3 days ago.
Oh, yeah. That will definitely help a lot setting it.
But we just found on Facebook Marketplace like a bar top for like $50, and I was like, this is perfect. Thank you so much. That looks beautiful.
Let me see it. Yeah, we're on there. You're taller than me. You're in there.
Cheers.
Cameron, thanks for coming. You're the only person who can operate this puppy.
Oh, thank you so much.
I appreciate you coming. Short but sweet.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to have a longer one. Oh,
yeah, we'll absolutely
man.
have a part 2.
I'm gonna cry. So good. This is so good. It's so smooth. It's so flavorful. I don't even know. I don't even know if it's gonna last for a week for me, man. I'll tell you.
Hey, well, that's why you have 2.
You're so kind. I did not expect any of it, and you're so kind. You brought me some beans.
Absolutely.
So
We're going to
kind.
talk
Thank
coffee.
you.
I got to bring some coffee. Well, thank you so much for having me.
Man.
It's been a pleasure.
Oh, I'm gonna drink it. Do you have to go, or do you want a to-go cup or something?
You know, I might have to sit down and drink it for a couple minutes.
Okay, okay.
Well,
Let's.
3 minutes. I'll see if I can get it down.
Yeah. Let me change this. Oh man. What other coffees? What beans have you? Are you interested in roasting?
Ooh, I really want to try some Ethiopian beans. Some of the better quality beans are a little pricey, so that's difficult, but I almost want to try it just for me. And I'd really like to experiment more with some light roasts. I really enjoy medium and dark coffee, but I roast light roast for other people like my wife who loves light roast. So I do it more for her, and also we got to have the different roast levels to sell. But if it were me, I'd probably just roast dark roast all day long. Yeah,
You
go
got
ahead.
me an idea
Sure,
for episode 2. If you're up for it,
sure.
I'll get some green beans,
Yeah?
and we'll do a roasting episode
Dude, that
where
would
we
be so
show
good.
behind the roaster,
Okay.
and then we're gonna make some coffee. We're gonna come back and try the coffee that we roasted.
Yeah, I think
Are
that
you
would
up
be
for it?
Absolutely.
That would be so cool.
That would be a lot of fun.
That would be so cool. I will show, and if you want, you can tell people, or
Yeah.
just say what your process is and
Yeah.
how you know.
Absolutely.
I love looking at videos like that.
Absolutely.
I watched before I got this. I watched tons of videos on the what is it called? There's this stove top.
Beamer?
There's a stovetop roaster, and you need the fire top,
Yeah.
and you can only roast so much, and you have to keep shaking it. Oh man, what is it called?
I've seen some stovetop that's like a little cylinder, but this one you said you have to shake it.
You have to continuously move it so that it doesn't get stagnated in one area.
Right,
And
because
there's
you'll
a
over
couple,
roast
yeah.
one side of the bean and not the other.
There's an Ethiopian place in Nashville called Gojo, however they
Okay.
say it. When you go there and have Ethiopian coffee, they roast it right before they brew it.
Really? So
Yeah.
they intentionally do it right away.
Yes. Some methods, like more immersion brews, I
Yeah.
think you can get away with it.
Okay.
Because it's just not a high pressure making.
Yeah.
You have more contact with like almost no pressure at all.
That's interesting.
Yeah. Hunter, my future brother-in-law, who has the same gear as you do,
Yeah.
he makes the coffee the day after with either pour over or just like kind of like a batch brew or something.
Yeah. I usually, I always go for espresso. I do love a good pour over, especially when I'm at school and don't have my espresso stuff. I'll bring everything I need for a pour over and have that at school and have my espresso in the morning at home. So when I need a pick me up after lunch, I can make a pour over on my planning period. It's a
man.
problem, but
It's
I'm okay
not
with
a
it.
problem. I have not met somebody who's into coffee as much as I am. So that's a special moment.
No, it's very nice to talk to someone else who has a love for it and
Yeah.
has some knowledge behind it, has done their homework as well.
This is an Ethiopian. Casey got
Okay.
it for me the other day.
Oh, wow.
I love
That smells
Ethiopians,
amazing.
but all the stuff that I've tasted from you all tasted really, really good.
Well, thank you very
This
much.
one is awesome.
Thank you.
Third morning.
Yeah, I think if you give it maybe 1 or 2 more days and go just a touch finer as well, I think you'll hit the sweet spot.
What is it? What's the origin?
It should be Honduras. Or no,
Honduras.
that's Peruvian. I'm sorry. Our light roast.
Peru, yeah.
Yeah, our light roast is Honduran.
Peruvian.
Yeah, that's the first coffee we've had from Peru, and so far it's our fan favorite. Everyone goes for that one, and they say they love it. So I might have to look for some more Peru coffee.
I once that popper that you put away.
Yeah,
for,
yeah.
That once nearly got caught on fire.
Did it really?
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
I didn't wait enough time, and the bean came up, and it started hazing or flaming, I'm like, oh shit, unplug it, take it outside. I'm like, oh, I hope I didn't mess it up.
I have made some sparks before at the plug-in because I was plugging it in and unplugging it and plugging it in, and I started to see some like charcoal almost, like it got a little black on the plug, and I was like, this is not good. I'm about to cause a fire. So I had to stop it there, but I couldn't let it go. I had to get a full-scale roaster, so, and then here we are.
That's awesome. Where do you hope to scale the company?
Ooh, that's a great question.
I have a lot of questions.
I have so many different ways it could go, so many different ideas. I would love to open a roastery that has a very small espresso bar for just kind of your espresso enthusiasts. Something like a lever machine, like the Vostok I was telling you about, but mainly gearing it towards roasting it and providing it for coffee shops around. But I've always had this dream that goes along with it, having a room off to the side that's for making the cups. I would love to do a pottery class attached to our roastery where they make the cup they get to use in the coffee shop.
That is amazing.
So I think that's going to be a lot of fun. Please don't steal that idea. I mean, you can. I think it'll be good anyway. But yeah, that would be really exciting. Yeah.
I think what sticks with people is the experience.
Yes.
And the audience that comes from an artist perspective.
No,
but
you're
the
good.
people who get this coffee are people who know a little bit more about coffee.
Yes.
It's not the people who go to Starbucks or these fast places.
Right.
You know, folks who are third wave.
Yeah.
You know, coffee likers.
Yes.
You know.
And not that there's anything wrong with people who
No.
just go to Starbucks and get their daily cup of coffee, but for people who do really enjoy the flavor profiling and getting a little bit deeper into the realm of coffee, I definitely would love to be able to provide an experience for them. Yeah.
Yeah.
And hopefully a little bit of Jesus in there too. But thank you so much. I
Oh
really
yeah,
appreciate
for
you.
sure. For sure. Cameron Merrill with Risen Roast Coffee Company.
Thank
Did I
you so
get
much,
that right?
Danny. You got it. That was perfect.
Good. A moment, I'm like, did I get it right?
I saw
Thank you
you
so
looking.
much.
Thank you.
Come on over here.
Yeah.
Let's say hi to that camera. Get his coffee. It's good. It's worth it. It's fresh. It's tasty. And you want it. I know you want it.
It's okay. I'll
Get
pay you
it.
for that later. Thank you.
No, it's not sponsored. I'm doing it because it's really good.
Thank you very much.
Get it.
Thank you.
Not this face, but this, because it's like...
Oh my goodness. Thank you so much for having me, Danny.
All
I
right,
appreciate it.
cut.